we practiced today, so I think we know that. And Le'Veon Bell had his knee swelled up yesterday, so he did not practice. We'll just get that down and get him back ready to go. Willie Gay did not practice. Everybody else practiced, did a nice job. The guys that are in the concussion protocol, which is Breland and Mahomes, were limited on what they did. So it was, but listen, they all got good work in, and that was the important thing as we went through today. It was good tempo. The guys again, it was a good first step getting things going. So, and then Clyde, he did practice, and so did Sammy. So they both got some work in today. Anyways, with that, time's yours.
Go first to Vahe Gregorian. Go ahead, Vahe.
Hey, Andy. Brad, I'll have a quick follow-up too. Andy, just writing something about Tyreek's development, and I just wonder if you could think back. It's been a while now, but to how much he needed to do to become a receiver, what all he needed when he came in, and what's taken him to where he is now.
Yeah, well, he was a tweener player where he got to do both in college and receiver part of it, but he attacked the issue coming in. People said he might just be a returner. That wasn't the case. That's not how he perceived himself, and he worked at it. And he spent a lot of time with the quarterbacks, and it showed in his development over the years. But there's a lot of technique and fundamentals that go into playing wide receiver in the National Football League, and he had to go and learn those, and he put his mind to it.
And obviously receiver requires a lot more than being fast, but do you think sometimes his speed almost overshadows all the other things he's able to do as a receiver?
He's got the speed and he has a quickness that we see, but it's the technique and fundamentals that he uses to get open. Likewise, there are a lot of fast and quick guys in this league, but to play wide receiver, you got to have the rest of it. And he's worked very hard at getting that, whether it's with David Culley or Greg. He's been blessed to have Greg, just having Greg haven't been a player in the offense. So what a great situation that's been for him.
Go next to Matt Derrick. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Coach, I don't know if you heard, and I apologize if you hadn't, that Ted Thompson passed away. And I was curious about your thoughts about Ted.
Yeah, good friend. I was sorry to hear about that. Good man. And he was good at what he did, but even a better person. So sad deal. And, the remaining family that he has, my prayers go out to them.
Go next to Seren Petro. Go ahead, Seren.
Coach, we talked with Coach McDermott earlier in the sorry, my microphone fell off. We talked to Coach McDermott earlier in the week, Coach, and about, kind of maybe how your influence of throw the ball and get to the run later, not being, old school football where you got to establish the run. That's got to be the first thing you've got to do, and how that came about. I'm curious, have you, made a note of how the league seems to be following in your, you said the other day, every down's a throwing down. Like, does that drive you? Does that force you to go even more in that direction to stay ahead of the curve?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I was kind of raised that way with it, but, I understand the importance of the run game too in there. So there's got to be, you've got to be efficient at both, but you've got to be able to throw the football in today's world. You have to be able to do it. These kids are starting now when they're in little league football and working their way up. High schools are throwing, colleges are throwing. And so it's not a secret anymore that's not a bad way to go. And this league is phenomenal at doing it. Some of the creativity and that you see right now in this league is really neat, to know where it was and where it's at now.
Go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Andy, just confirming with you that Pat is still in the protocol. Is that right? And Brad will have a quick second question.
Yeah, both Pat and Breland are both in the protocol.
Okay.
And working on a limited basis. So, I mean, that's kind of where we're at.
Okay.
Both are improving.
Did Pat take all the starter snaps today?
The majority of them, yeah, he took them.
Okay, thanks.
We'll go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Coach, we'll get a chance to speak with Darrel today. Given how his year has gone, where maybe he thought he would be within the mix for a lot of snaps early on, injecting a draft pick, injecting Le'Veon Bell, just how proud are you for him keeping with it through the season, and now he's getting really these prime time opportunities?
Yeah, you know what? You cut out the first part of that. I heard Le'Veon Bell, and I didn't hear the.
Okay, yeah, sorry. We're getting Darrel today. I just how proud
I
are
got
you
you.
for him sticking
I
with
got you.
it, given just the circumstances.
Okay, good. Yeah, no, Darrel, strong-minded kid. So I'm proud of him and how he's handled it. He had a got hurt, and then he comes back and he worked his tail off to get himself back into football shape, and it's paying off for him. So he's done a nice job for us, and I'm happy for him. He's a good kid, so that you're happy for those guys that work their tail off and are good people. So
We'll go last to Herbie Teope. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Coach, just a quick follow-up to Adam Teicher's question. And how did Patrick look out there to you? And the last question is, Phillip Rivers retired yesterday, and I know you've got some history with him over the years. Yeah. What was your reaction to his retirement?
Yeah, so Pat looked good out there. He did a nice job when he was doing it, and looks like he's moving around well. He feels good. So it's just important that we follow the protocol, and that's what we're doing. So and then Phillip, listen, I'm happy for him that he's getting to do now what he wanted to do, and that's coach high school football. And he's got all these kids, which is awesome. There's a time and a place where everybody's got to hang it up, and he had a phenomenal career, and he's a phenomenal guy, and you pull for those guys. And so I hope his second career here, coaching high school football, is as good as his first career, and that was playing for the Chargers in Indy. So he's a heck of a player.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll get started, and we'll start first with Matt Derrick. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Coach. Harrison had the missed field goal and the extra point issue on Sunday. The same thing that was happening earlier, or anything new was going on Sunday?
Had nothing to do with what happened earlier. It was just an operational glitch that we had, with the rotation of the ball. The laces came down in a weird spot. Not one time all year did that happen, or in practice for that matter. And it happened twice. And both of those kicks, we rotate in a different way. It's just an operational glitch that we cleaned it up, and he had a great week of practice, and he was on point this week. So we're good.
Go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Coach, I know that you've talked before, and you say Tyreek Hill is always in play as a returner, Hardman. You got a really good mix of guys right now. Wondering what type of deal goes into maybe one of these guys like a Hill getting a punt return in a playoff game like this?
A situation where we know probably it's obviously a big situation where we need a return. Hill is fresh. He happens to be in eye contact with me. A lot of those things come into play. I've talked to Coach Reid about maybe before. There's a lot of issues that go into it, but we just know that he is available and he's ready to go. He practices and he caught punts all week this week with Dustin punting to him with left-footed punter. He's ready to go. He wants to do it. So it's just a matter of just, finding the right, time to call his number and he would give us his own, that's for sure.
Go next to Sam Mellinger. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Dave. I just wanted to follow up on your earlier answer. Operational glitch is a great term, by the way. I'm going to use that a lot. But do I understand you right? Like the hold was the hold that spun the ball the wrong way, or what is that?
Winchester is so good as a snapper. He can count the rotations with his snap, where the laces never appear for him. For the hold. But in this case, the laces appeared. Now there was a combination with the weather and a little bit short. Whatever we did there, we figured it out this week. But the laces showed up to where they were facing Butker, and then Tommy has to deal with getting them out of the way, which it's a matter of which way we're going to rotate the ball. So, he rotated, where Butker could see the laces for a longer period of time. That's not what we want to do. So we want to rotate it the opposite way, so it goes away. I didn't want to get real technical with it, but I guess you forced me to it. But that's really what it is. That's why I just said it's an operational thing that we got it ironed out and fixed.
Yeah, detail's incredible. Thank you.
You got it.
We're ready whenever you are.
All right, Brad, we got everybody. I'm good.
Mhm.
Just got that's beautiful outside. Just got done with a great practice. We got blessed with a nice day of weather on January 21st. So with that, I'll open it up.
Let's go first to Miss Karen Kornacki. Go ahead, Karen.
Hi, Coach Spags. How are you today?
Hi, Karen. I'm doing great.
Can you tell me the progress of Josh Allen, how he's progressed since week 6 in the film that you're looking at?
Yeah, listen, we thought he was pretty good when we played him in week 6, but just the way they've functioned in these last 10, 12 weeks, whatever it's been, highly efficient. Not afraid to make any throw from any spot. Most of these guys just say make him go in a certain direction and he's weaker, but this is an athletic quarterback that's big. He's tough to tackle. And I think he's functioning in the offense that Brian has him in very, very well.
Let's go next to Todd Lebo. Go ahead, Todd.
Hey, Coach, it's been a while since you played these guys, and it was kind of an unusual kind of weather, weird kind of Monday afternoon game. Did you think you saw the best of them that day offensively? And do they look as a group like they've gotten better as the season's gone?
Yeah, no question. I mean, look, I think we're getting ready to play a football. It's always hard to play a team twice in a league. I mean, in a season. I mean, we know that. It's hard to beat a team twice. It's hard to beat a team 3 times. And so that's what we're faced with. And we certainly expect the level of their play to certainly go way up. I think you're right about the weather there. Might have changed things a little bit. We're fully expecting our most difficult task of the season. Big quarterback, wideouts all over the place, an offensive line that's functioning well together. And I don't think we should fall asleep on the run game. I think that running back is a good football player. Everybody comes in and tries to run the football on us, and some people have some success and some don't. So we're ready for everything.
Let's go next to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Steve. You've got some sort of questions at cornerback in the sense that Rashad didn't play last week, and now you've got Bashad Breeland going through the concussion protocol. L'Jarius has played multiple roles this year. Does that affect are you asking him to do different things in practice this week in anticipation that he could do different things in the game?
Yeah, you're pretty observant, Sam, because that's something we're dancing around right now. Look, you like to have all your guys, all your bodies in the right spots this time of year. But we are going through some things that are a little bit in flux. We're a little uncertain in some spots. Hopefully it'll clear itself up by Sunday or certainly before that so we get guys ready. But it happens in the middle of the game and we have to be prepared. And I think our assistant coaches do a terrific job. Dave Merritt and Sam Madison do a great job back there of rolling guys through. We have a plan either way to what you're addressing, Sam, if certain guys can't go. And let's hope most of our guys can make it to the game.
Let's go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Steve, good to see you. I actually want to follow up on Sam's question about L'Jarius. He's impressed you guys all year. My 2-part question is just what jumped out to you most about L'Jarius in his first postseason game, and what were your observations of him when he did have to go to the outside late against the Browns?
Yeah, it's a really good point because he didn't get a lot of reps at the corner spot because we were getting ready for him to play nickel. But you're talking about a guy that's really in the football. I watch him in the meetings and how attentive he is. I watch him take notes in the iPad, which I still don't know how to do. But he writes on that thing and then he moves it and the whole thing. But listen, he's a guy that's, kind of well beyond his years as far as he doesn't play like a rookie. He certainly didn't last week. I love the way he plays. He loves playing football. He's passionate about it. We'd like not to move people all over the place. So let's hope, we're healthy enough that we can keep him in the spot that we've had him normally. And again, I say this most of the times we talk about LJ, we're talking about a guy that did not get any reps in training camp at the nickel spot. So he's kind of learning on the run. Hopefully we've got it all covered by now because it's a pretty important game.
We'll take a couple more. We'll go Pete Sweeney and then Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Pete.
Coach, curious about the problem that is Stephon Diggs? Seems like every week everybody knows he's coming, yet he still puts up a ton of production. Just how do you wrap your head on defending him?
Well, we're hoping we can do what we do. I mean, we know our guys get up there and press as much as we can, but listen, he finds ways to beat that. He can force us into penalties. That hurt us a little bit last time we played him. But we won't change too much what we do. We do have to focus on him on certain calls that we have, certain situational football, and we'll do that. And when that happens, the other guys covering what is their other talent. Beasley's still a good player, and they got some other guys that can run pretty good on the outside. Have to get the job done.
We'll go last to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Steve, a couple things about Tyrann Mathieu. You talked about, maybe you're not going to have some of your guys at corner. How does his versatility maybe help you through a situation like that? And Brad will have one quick follow-up as well.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you saw it last week in the Cleveland game. There were times we had to move him back in the slot. The luxury of having a guy like Tyrann is, that he's going to prepare himself to play all the positions we ask him to do. And you can trust that he's going to know what he has to do. There's only, in this league, not everybody can be a starter. Not everybody can get the reps during the season in practice. So there are guys that have to go in and play spots in a game that really haven't had those live reps in practice. Now, Tyrann's one of those guys that can do it. And fortunately for us, when we start to get banged up out there, we can move him around. So it's a luxury for us.
And you said last week, you talked about him being one of those guys that makes all the other guys around him a better player. How much of that has to do with his versatility, that, he can do this, he can do that, and maybe you can play to another guy's strengths?
Yeah, I think that's a valid point. When you can move a guy around that you say, hey, there's a new guy at that position, but he knows what he's doing and we're going to be okay. I think everybody feels good about that. That, and look at just the energy he brings and, what he's saying to guys, whether it's on the sideline or in the huddle. I think they just trust him. They believe in him. The guy's a winner and he's made plays for us. And I think when you can get as many of those guys as you can, you'll be a better unit.
You're ready whenever you are, Coach.
All right. Good afternoon. Hope all is well with everyone. Hopefully everyone has remained safe from the last time that I've seen you guys. Here we are again, third year in a row in the AFC Championship game. Not a better place to be here in the whole entire world at this particular point. We get an opportunity to defend home field and pursue our goals. With that said, I'm all ears.
Let's go first to Harold Kuntz. Go ahead, Harold.
Hey, Eric, how are we doing today?
Doing good. How you doing, Harold?
I'm good, man. Hey, two questions for you. One regarding the Buffalo defense. With Matt Milano, they're 12-0, and they've, I think, given up only 18.6 points per game. How much have you seen differently in that Buffalo defense than when you faced him in Week 6, especially with him coming back and how important he is to that defense? And I'll have another.
You know what? I see a hell of a team that's improved for whatever reason. Don't get me wrong. Our guys came out and played some good ball, but I've seen a huge difference in their approach and how they're handling things. Those guys are flying around. I think the world of 58, obviously Edmonds does a hell of a job. I think that I respect is, watching that secondary. It's a veteran group. Those guys do a great job of communicating. They have a great understanding of what Les and Coach Sean McDermott has done. So this is going to be a fun game. And as we know, everything starts up front. They got some horses up front. We're going to see a lot of line games, and that's okay. Our guys understand that we got to set the tone, and we got to start it early and often.
And my other question to you, and I probably already know what your answer is going to be, but just do you feel that since you've kind of become the face of this whole coaching search, if you will, just especially nationally, do you feel any regret or remorse that it's come to the fact that you're kind of the face of this?
You know what, Harold? Here's the thing. It's always good to be mentioned and having an opportunity to pursue your dreams. And obviously, yes, I do want to be a head coach. But when it's all said and done with, my job is to make sure everything that we're doing right now is not to take away from the goals that we're trying to accomplish. The only thing that matters today, we got better. Okay. Today we had an opportunity to make sure we can take care of situational football as far as short yardage, goal line, and our third down situations. So now it's time for us to go back in and chop wood, watch this tape, and get ready for the next day. We want to make sure that we're getting our guys ready to make sure they can take care of business on Sunday. My own personal business, when all that's time to take care of itself, that will take care of itself, Harold. But thanks for asking.
Let's go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Eric, I got a couple of things for you today. Darrel Williams. You guys have brought in a lot of backs last couple of years from LaShawn McCoy and Darwin Thompson, and this year Le'Veon and Clyde. But Darrel's still standing. What is it about him? How is he the one who's still standing here? What is it about Darrel that you keep him around and he's a guy you turn to in a big playoff game? And Brad, I'll have one follow-up as well.
Okay, Brad is, my man D-Dub, Dirty, as everybody calls him. Dirty's a smart, intelligent football player. He always have been that way. He's a guy that can line up and play in two positions. He can play at the running back position. He can also play the fullback position. He's a very smooth operating customer. He's very smooth through the holes. Thing that he has always been, and he understands because it had a chance to come to light a few times since he's been here. Make sure you continue working and only worry about the things that you can control. And when you're presented with that moment, you make sure that you make it happen. I told him yesterday, in fact, I told him that I was very proud of his performance, not because of the numbers that he put up. We knew that he was very capable of that. In fact, he could put up even more better numbers. The thing that I was proud of is his ability to persevere through all the adversity that he's been through, because he really hasn't been given that opportunity to just go out there and shine like I know every player has, when they envision himself playing in this league. So I'm very proud of the player, but more importantly, very proud of the person for just seeing it through.
All right. And just also wanted to get your take on how Pat's looked through the last couple of days of practice.
You know what? Obviously, I'll let Coach deal with all that, but he looks like Pat to me. So he's been great in meetings. He's fun. He's energetic. So you can always count on Pat being Pat.
Go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Good to see you, Eric. I have two questions as well. The first one I'll start off with is Nick Allegretti had his first postseason debut. Just what did you see on tape, and what was it like for him to really get his start against the Bills and how he's progressed to now? And then Brad will have a follow-up.
You know what? I saw a kid that, just like with everybody else up front, that took advantage of a situation, that understood that this time of the year, all right, the game is going to be taken care of up front. I thought he did a heck of a job of coming off the ball. Obviously, just like anything, it's not going to always be perfect. But the thing that Nick takes a tremendous amount of pride in, he's going to line up and he's going to play the next play. He's going to give you everything that he has, and he's going to fight for 60 consecutive minutes. I enjoy watching him play. I enjoy watching those guys collectively play together as a group. And then on top of that, finishing the game the way we did. That's what it's all about. And that was very, very unique. Now we got to put it together this week in practice and make sure that we can accomplish the same goal this particular Sunday coming up.
Yeah, Eric. And then secondly, going to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he could possibly make his debut on Sunday. Just what are you trying to share with him to prepare him for such an opportunity? And how might the balance work if you're going to have him and Darrel going for you in the backfield?
Well, if Clyde's going to be a part of this, you can never have enough good players that's going out there to play. And you want to be at your best. And when it's all said and done with, we want our best players to be in there, giving us the best opportunity to win. So we'll make sure that Coach Dealin is coming up with the plan with myself and Coach Reid, and we'll just continue to work our way through. But at this particular time, we just want to make sure that Clyde is going to be there and be prepared to be the player that he can be.
Got time for a couple more. We'll go Karen and then Pete. Go ahead, Karen.
Coach, how are you?
I'm doing good, Ms. Karen. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Coach Spags was just basically saying it's hard to play a team twice. I'm wondering, do you save some really cool plays for this part of the season that we haven't seen yet and we can kind of watch for?
You know what, Ms. Karen, I'm not going to even give that away because we have so many tons of plays. You just roll out that Rolodex, just choose a few, pull them out from the Joe files. And but I'll say this, at this particular time of the year, you just want your guys to make sure that they play assignment sound football. Will we have a wrinkle or two? Probably so. But when it's all said and done with, we just want to make sure we're putting our guys in the best situation to go out there and play as hard and as fast as they can. And then when it's all said and done with, we can end up celebrating and going to pursue our goal in Tampa.
We'll go last to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Right, I have just one quick thing after this. First, just to follow up here, why is Darrel Williams called dirty, do you think, in your estimation?
You know what? I have no idea. Okay. So
Okay.
when he got here, in fact, I know that the running back coach at that time, that's what they call him, and at LSU. But I will say this: it has nothing to do with his hygiene. Okay.
Got it.
So
Well, that's a
he's
good
a
thing.
great kid. Yes.
And then for Sammy Watkins, I know he's faced a lot of adversity due to injuries this year, especially toward the end. And we know how important he is for your postseason offense. Just how is he taking everything? How's his mindset going into what could be his first game in a couple of weeks?
You know what? Sammy's been great. And the thing about it, when Sammy's not in there, he's been great. Obviously, Sammy's, working himself back into the lineup, into the rotation. We're just trying to make sure we can get him across the finish line and get him there on Sunday. But Rick and those guys that take care of that. But when it's all said and done, if he can be there, obviously he's going to provide a spark for us. Okay. He's going to give us another element to helping us to go out there and pursue our goals. And then on top of that, the things that he brings that energy, he brings that enthusiasm. He's a physical player. So if Sammy's able to go, we're looking forward to watching him do what he can do. But on top of that, we're counting on him, if he is playing, to make sure that he does everything that is needed to help us to accomplish the goal.
We'll get started, and we will start first with Herbie Teope. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Anthony, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm well, thanks. The Buffalo Bills, obviously, it's been a while. Week 6 was the last time you faced them. And over the course of the season, as you look at the tape now, what is the biggest difference in your opinion as you prepare to face them now?
Yeah, I just think they're same as us. I think they just kept growing and getting better every week, and it's showing. Still got the same game plan, as they did before. A lot of passing, more of a passing type offense, and I mean everyone knows that. But mixed in the run game as well. So for us, game plan stays the same like it was last week. Make it one-dimensional and let our pass rushers rush. So we're coming in with the mindset like every week is making them one-dimensional.
Let's go next to Steve Walls. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey, what's up, Hitch? Hey,
how we doing?
I'm good, man. I want to ask you about Cole Beasley. I know you guys spent a few years on the Cowboys together, and he's not a guy that gets the recognition like Stephon Diggs, but he still is able to make an impact on the game. I just want to find out what kind of problems do you see he poses for you guys?
Yeah, he's a good athlete, man. He's one of the best in the slot. They do a good job moving him around, stacking him behind guys and letting him do his option routes, and that's where he made all his money off, is living in that slot. He's a tough guy. He's not afraid to get hit. He'll block on run plays. So, he's a good ball player. He doesn't get the recognition, but I think this year he did, man. I seen just over the media and things like that. I feel like a lot of guys are giving him recognition and things like that. So good for him. And just like I say every week, they're in our way. So all the positive they're doing, we're trying to stop it so we can get to where we need to get to.
Let's go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hitch, kind of lost in what was Henny Mania was the stop that you guys had against the Browns. Just how important was that in achieving your goals, and what did it mean to your unit?
Yeah, we won a lot of games this year off different guys making plays and different offense or defense or special teams or different parts of the game and things like that. And we had an opportunity to get a stop, and we did as a defense. We played sound defense for 3 solid plays right there, and then the offense took over, and they never got the ball back. So, yeah, it's the playoffs. We got to just find a way to win. I just keep saying that we just find a way to win, and that's what good teams do. Sometimes it's the offense, sometimes it's defense, sometimes individual players, sometimes it's special teams. It's all over the place. But when you get a lot of good guys and a lot of group of guys that's working and studying, good things happen.
We'll go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Anthony, I have 2 questions for you. The first is, because you guys practice against your offense, how much can that prepare you for an offense that's pretty similar, like you mentioned, in wanting to pass the football on first down for the majority of the time? And then Brad will have a follow-up.
Yeah, we practice against, in my opinion, the best offense in the league. We don't go against them too much here in season, besides like the bye week. But we've seen a lot of Patrick Mahomes, and I feel like that's the best you can get. So our defense seen it all year long, and we prepare for it. And Josh Allen, everyone knows, man, he has the arm strength and extended plays and things like that. So we have a couple of things for that, and make sure we in zone coverage. We got to stay on our guys and not leave them and thinking he's going to scramble to run. He's more scrambling to throw it down the field.
We'll start first with Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, Darrel, looking back at the year, I imagine as the team kept on acquiring running backs, one in the draft that you know well, and then Bell, there were some tough times, I'm sure, to try to stay positive. How did you do that? And how do you feel like it led you to getting the first snap last week in the playoff game?
Well, growing up, I've been through a lot, and I never let nothing get me down. And with that, it was one of those things where, I just got to keep my focus, keep grinding, keep doing what I'm doing, stay positive, and the guys in the room and the guys on the team, they kept my spirits up. So it was just I had to stay positive, but it wasn't pretty much too hard.
Let's go next to Danny Welniak. Go ahead, Danny.
Hey, Darrel, just kind of wanted to ask you a little bit about this Bills defense. What do you guys see and how much has it improved since you guys went up against it in week 6?
Oh yeah, well, we played against them in week 6. Up front they have a tremendous D line, and back in the secondary, they're pretty talented. They find a way to get the ball out. They're good with strips, and the linebacker core, they move around real good and they flow to the ball.
Let's go next to Nick Jacobs. Go ahead, Nick.
Darrel, I'm curious for you. Where did you learn to run with that type of anger that you do and that type of the way you finish and you destroy opponents? Where did you learn that from?
Well, growing up where I come from, nothing really given to us. Everything that we get, we got to grind and go get it. And it's just a mentality growing up that I always have, coming from where I came from. And it's just always been my mentality to run hard.
Let's go next to Matt Derrick. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Darrel, last year, EB told us that you're Mr. Consistent. Today, he told us that people call you dirty, but he didn't know why people called you dirty. So can you tell us?
That's a good question. I can't even tell y'all because I'm still trying to figure out why people call me that. I mean, it started back in college, and I know they used to call me Dirt Naps because I had my dreads, and then they just started calling me dirty.
Let's go next to Breland Moore. Go, Breland.
Hey, Darrel. Quick question for you. Trey White, you guys played together in college, correct? What about him just really makes him as good of a cornerback as he is here in the National Football League? Because obviously you know the best since you played with him.
Yep. Trey's a good guy. That always been my guy at LSU. But he's a real technique guy. If you just watch him, the ins and outs, he's just so smooth, and his technique is A1. And I think that's what leading him to be one of the best cornerbacks in this game.
Got time for 2 more. We'll go Adam Teicher and then Nate. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Darrel, there was a question earlier about all these backs the Chiefs have brought in since you've been here, and you know the list, but you were the guy they turned to on Sunday. What do you feel like it is about your ability that the Chiefs not only keep you around, but play you in a big playoff game?
I think main thing, me just being consistent, me being me, and just being able to do every single thing. And then when my number is called, me just going out there and executing, and the time I put in, the coaches trust me, and the players trust me, and just me being able to go out there and just do everything to my full potential.
Go last to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Darrel, we didn't talk to you after the game on Sunday, but can you just explain the emotions and just how satisfying it was to have your best statistical game of the season in your first playoff game?
Yeah, that's pretty big because, I've been waiting on this opportunity, and I finally got it. And, I just had to cherish the moment. And, but besides me not having a big game, it was a big team win for us. We needed it, and that's what mattered at the end of the day.
You ready for it?
I'm ready to go.
All right, we'll get started, and we'll start first with Harold Kuntz. Go ahead, Harold.
Hey, Harrison. Dave Tobe was talking earlier about the operational error and how the snaps went. Is it kind of just a quick fix for you guys as you were out there on the practice field this week?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're not going to try to reinvent the wheel. I think there's some minor adjustments we can all make, and we're focused in for this next AFC Championship game. And the biggest thing is just learning from past mistakes and correcting it and getting better and moving on.
Let's go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Harrison, we talked last time about how tricky it can be to kick at Arrowhead this time of year. Is having experience at that, kicking at Arrowhead this time of year, is that important for you? You feel like going into this game?
Definitely. I mean, like I probably said when you asked me that question, we go up at least one time a week before the game, and you have that confidence going into the game. You know what the field's going to be like. The wind hopefully is somewhat similar for the game. And you just have more reps and more data to think about, I guess, for when you do get to the game. So it's definitely an advantage.
Let's go next to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Harrison. Coach Tobe explained in pretty intricate detail exactly about the laces and everything, but I'm wondering from your perspective, since we don't do it, what does make it more difficult when that's sort of an issue?
So, you know, every kicker is different, but for me, I'm looking at the ground, the spot basically of where the holder is going to put the ball. And then once the ball's down, my eyes normally raise up and look at the sweet spot of the ball. So in a perfect world, that ball's still, and I can just hone in on the sweet spot and swing away. So if the laces are a little bit off, then the ball's going to be moving. But, you know, it's just been, I've been very fortunate to have such a great operation the past couple months, past couple weeks, so that when in the game's moving, I just, I didn't handle it well. And that's on me because I do practice that during the week. Since our operation is so good, I do practice just seeing bad laces, seeing the ball moving, because at the end of the day, as the kicker, if the ball's on the ground, it's your job to make the kick. So when that ball's moving or whatever, if it's perfectly still, you know, you got to make the kick. So we got a lot of good reps this week. And as I said, as a kicker, you got to be able to handle everything, you know, no matter what.
Let's go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Harrison, was just curious about Dustin Colquitt's return. How does he feel to be back, and how have the specialist room taken it?
It's been great to have Dustin back, you know, to have a 15-year vet around. And it's really been fortunate that the last punter we played and then this punter are both left-footed. So Dustin's able to punt to our punt returners with the lefty spin there as well. And Dustin's done a great job talking with Tommy about everything, anything a 15-year vet can share. You know, he's done a great job with that. And obviously for the locker room and the specialist room, he's a great addition with all the jokes and the lighthearted humor. So he's been a great guy to have around, and, you know, he's obviously excited for the playoff push.
Let's go next to Herbie Teope. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Harrison, along those same lines with what Pete just asked about having Dustin around, how beneficial is it for you, especially that operation between you, James Winchester, and the holder, when you're able to have another set of eyes watching it based on his experience as a holder?
Yeah, it's been good. You know, we have our assistant special teams coach, Andy Hills, normally with us, giving us the operation times, charting for us. And now Dustin is able to shag a little bit, but also kind of get more feedback for laces on the snap, where the laces are on contact. And then for me, any technique issues, because he's seen me now for 3 years, and this year, I guess, virtually. So it's a great addition. I mean, he's almost like a kicking and punting and a holding coach for all of us, not a snapping coach.
We'll go last to Nick Jacobs. Go ahead, Nick.
Harrison, I'm curious for you on the operation perspective here. Is there a certain way you want the ball leaned? And also, does it depend on hash how you would prefer that lean and how you prefer the laces to be?
So, you know, if there's not a lot of wind, ideally the laces are right down the middle. You know, if there's some wind, then, you know, say there's a right to left wind, obviously I don't want the laces facing left. I'd rather the laces kind of fight the wind a little bit. As far as the lean, I'd like the ball pretty much straight up and down, and Tommy does a great job, you know, giving me just what I asked for when it comes to that ball lean. And then, you know, I really do prefer the left hash. That's where we've been kicking a lot of our extra points from. And the ball lean shouldn't change and the laces shouldn't change from the left hash to the right hash. Most of the time, the ball straight up and down, laces right down the middle. And, you know, we've done a great job of that, you know, all year.